David Brewster here in the 3-for-all. This is 3 Jake E. Lee licks from 1989, and I did feature Jake a couple years ago. I think those licks were from 1984 when he was still working with Ozzy, and I did put together a Jake E. Lee chord play, the chords of Jake E. Lee. And I recently found this footage from 1989 when he was working with Badlands, and what can I say about Jake that I haven't already said in other lessons? He's a phenomenal, legend of hard rock, very aggressive and expressive, pinch harmonics and these pivot arpeggios and all kinds of cool stuff. I've been definitely a big Jake E. Lee fan for a long time. And I know his, fan base out there, they're so loyal and just begging, for more Jake E. Lee. So I've had tons of requests to feature more. So here we go. And just a heads up, I put Ozzy's tribute up on the wall there because I don't have anything with Jake E. Lee on vinyl. I didn't really realize that until I was putting this together, and I thought, man, I don't have Bark at the Moon or Ultimate Sin or any Badlands or anything. And just a heads up, the Badlands vinyl is becoming very rare and valuable, and I did a little search, and depending on, whether it's the self-titled debut or Voodoo Highway, the prices are up to like $200 and $300. But here's an image with some of the vinyl, on eBay, which unfortunately I waited too long, and if you have this on vinyl, you're really lucky. Just a heads up, but I did have a lesson in Guitar Player magazine a couple years ago. That would have been the March 2018 issue with the Wizards of Oz. And that lesson features licks and ideas from Randy Rhoads, Jake E. Lee, and Zakk Wylde. And I was honored not only to put another lesson together for Guitar Player, but I was honored to feature Randy Rhoads, Jake E. Lee, and Zakk Wylde. So that was, I was on cloud 9. That was a dream come true. The licks in this lesson came from 2 different places. They were actually bootlegs from 1989, during that self-titled Badlands tour. And I kind of pieced them together because the quality of one show was better, but then the licks from the other show where the quality wasn't as good, I really liked. So I kind of did a mix and match, just a heads up on that. Okay, the first lick's this squealing melodic phrase, and it's pretty cool. Something like this. One more time. So right there, we're basically moving between C sharp and B. You can tell, from the bass guitar, kind of moving between C sharp and B. And we're basically playing out of C sharp dominant pentatonic, which we've talked about dominant pentatonic scales on this channel before, but that would be right here. And we're kind of playing with that middle area right here. And that's basically where he's starting that lick. Something like that. So that is kind of a signature lick from Jake, really aggressive picking with some pinch harmonics thrown in. It just sounds like Jake E. Lee. Okay, next up is this really aggressive string bending idea, and it reminds me of a cross between Albert King and Jimmy Page, but something like this. One more time. So we're in E or E7, and we're basically, kind of targeting this targeting this A and bending that up to B, and then going back to that G note right there. And then you want to do a pre-bend on that A up to B, like this. And then end right there on that E note. That's the part that reminds me of Albert King, big time. And then right there, you're going to slide from nowhere into this, and then you're basically targeting eventually that, B note, and you're going to bend that B up a step and a half to D. So there's a big, David Gilmour, or you can think of Jimmy Page right there, big time. And then you want to come down E blues right there, B flat to A. And then pull off this G to E right there, and then give, that E note a bunch of vibrato. Like this. And that's that's a big bend. You know, make sure you're actually making that D note right there happen. So one more time with this lick. The next idea is this bluesy string skipping, which is unusual, but it's really cool, like this. One more time. So once again, we're still in E, and we're basically, string skipping, and we're skipping over the B string right there. And you can hear this little melodic line, E, G, A, back to that G. Right? But he's doing this kind of chromatic pull-off right there on the G string. So really slowly, he's doing this. And that's the E to that chromatic pull-off. And then grab that G note and do it again. Grab that G twice. And then you're going to stretch up and grab that A note twice and do the pull-off. And back to that G. Go back to that E at the end, and then I'm just ending it with this kind of Hendrix bend right there. I think Jake kept going, like in the live footage, but one more time here, that's a cool lick. Alright, here's a bonus lick from this live footage, and it's an E minor pentatonic speed lick, and it's very aggressive, and I think he's using the middle position single coil for that kind of classier tone. It's something like this. One more time. So it's E minor pentatonic. It kind of reminds me of Zakk Wylde and some of those fast sequenced, pentatonic licks that he plays. And, slowly we're basically doing this. One more time. And I'm kind of doing like a half and half, half picked, half legato. Jake might be picking a little bit more than I am, but it's just kind of my interpretation of that lick. But you can definitely tell there's a mix of legato and picking. It's not all picked, and it's not all legato either. And you can experiment with both of those, ideas. You can add more legato just to see what that sounds like, and you can pick more just to kind of change up the sound. But one more time here, just kind of a moderate tempo. To the end, you can see we're just dipping into the E blues scale, grabbing that B flat right there. Kind of a standard, pentatonic based idea, but I like that really aggressive driving sound. It sounds great with a band or just, like an unaccompanied guitar solo or something like that. And you can find ideas like that from plenty of players, but I always just think of Zakk Wylde for some reason because he's done those kind of licks for decades. One more time here. It's going to wrap this look at 3 Jake E. Lee licks from 1989, and like I said at the beginning, I had a lot of requests to feature more Jake, and we've looked at his licks twice now and his chords. And there's still a ton of stuff you can get from Jake E. Lee. So just in due time, we will visit, Jake again. But I definitely want to, thank everybody for the requests and the feedback and the support, and the views and the Patreon supporters. Definitely Late Night Lessons is growing, so I'm really happy about that. So anyway, leave some feedback. Please subscribe to Late Night Lessons, and I'll be back before you know it with more content and material. Thank you.